welcome along to Super League Raw News on Friday, the 31st of May. Yes, 24 hours later, but we're just hours away now from round number 13. As it says there, like, share, comment, and subscribe to Super League Raw on YouTube, Facebook, all of our platforms, so that you do not miss a thing. Round 13, just like I say, hours away. Let's hope the tries are as good as round number 12. Some incredible tries, wasn't there, in round number 12, especially Hull KR, who were rampant against the London Broncos, not only winning comfortably, but scoring some incredible four-pointers along the way. Let's get into some Super League Raw news before we go around the grounds in preparation for round number 13. And as announced on Super League Raw Weekly, the quiz night is back, 17th of June, 2024. In the top corner, there's a QR code. Go and get your quiz night tickets right now. The first 10 people aboard will get 2 for 1, and it's important that you get them really quickly. Members don't need to do a thing. Theirs will hit their inbox. They, of course, they get theirs as part of the membership. Also, you can go and become a member of Super League Raw. Just go to our Patreon website and check out all of the information there. So, yeah, the Super League Raw quiz night, this coming, Monday, the 17th of June, 2024. It's going to be a great night. Make sure you join us. We start at 8 p.m. Also available for your viewing pleasure now is In Conversations with the Legend that is Earl Crabtree. That is on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to it as a podcast on the usual Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. Depending, of course, on where you get those podcast. Right, the team of the month was announced in Super League Raw Weekly. If you missed it, this is the team of the month, and as you can see, there's all the players. Wellesby at fullback, Pulis, Charlie on the wings, Broadbent, who's been outstanding for KR, with Percival in the centres, Lamb and Mikey Lewis in the halves, Amon and SASA, second team of the month running for Herman SASA. Getting to the detail, folks, what he's doing at Hull FC is very, very good indeed. You can't fault Herman SASA in that side. He's doing the meters, he's doing the work, and fully deserving of being in team of the month this week. And Darryl Clark there at hooker, Nicholson and Ensemble, what a youthful looking back row, that is, with Ben Curry at loose forward. On the interchange bench, Tex Hoy, who's been superb since going to the Casford Tigers, Matt Moylan, Michelangelo Ledski, another one that might surprise you, but again, going to the detail, Ledski in Leeds, Rhino shirt, doing the business down the middle. Just needs, of course, the players around him to contribute to get them back into the winner's circle in the big games, of course. And Liam Farrell at number 17. As you can see there, Matt Peat was given the coach of the month. It was a shootout between him and Sam Burgess, but Pete got it, played 3, won 3, and it was the scoring record, 104 points scored in 3 games. Of course, Wigan Warriors in that time winning against the Catalan Dragons at home 30 points to 8. They went on the road to the Huddersfield Giants winning 48 points to 6. And then last week on the road again, 26 points to 6 to the Salford Red Devils, fully deserving Matt Peat. And the one that surprised many was the player of the month. That went the way of Josh Fewlis of the Warrington Wolves. Many people thought Junior Nsemba was a shoo-in for that. Not at all. When you get into the detail, Fewlis scored 20 of the 24 points in the Hull FC win. Then he got 4 kicks from 4 against KR. If it weren't for that, chances are they could have maybe not won against KR. And then against the Catalan Dragons, his work out of backfield, his interceptions and runs really did put Warrington back in good territory when their backs were against the wall. In all 3 games, Josh Fewlis has been a game breaker for the Warrington Wolves, and that is why he got the nod. Emotion, no, all factual at Super League Raw. You wouldn't expect it any other way. The official nominees have been announced for the Player of the Month, and as you can see, there are quite a few of them did appear in our Team of the Month. A couple of surprises, really. I'm not quite sure why Junior Nsemba isn't in there. That is a big, big surprise for me. And I would also say the likes of Mikey Lewis, Jack Broadbent, probably very unlucky for Hull KR not to be in the top 6, such has been their form in the month of May. Hadley has been decent. Don't get me wrong. Harry Smith has been decent. All of these players have had a really good May. I just think that there's other players, for example, the 2 halfbacks that we picked here at Super League Raw, Lewis and Lamb, I think that they probably have had a better May than perhaps Harry has. And like I say, I think Junior Nsemba has probably had a better month than Dean Hadley has. But hey, they are. They're the votes. We'll keep an eye on that. Probably that will be announced over the coming days, and we will, of course, discuss that in Super League Raw Weekly this coming Tuesday, 8 p.m, as we always do. Also on our YouTube channel is the prediction show. That's right, taken from Super League Raw Weekly. If you want to know who we predicted this week would come out on top in all 6 games, go and watch the prediction show between now and kickoff tonight at 8 p.m. And that is there again for you to go and view. Right, let's take a look at the league table going into round number 13. And as you can see, 3 teams sitting top: Saints, Warriors and Wolves going up against each other. We'll get to that in a bit. The Robins and the Dragons and the Red Devils, they're in the top 6 positions. Still at the bottom, the Broncos and Hull FC. Let's take a look at this week's fixtures then. And these are them. The Giants will go up against Hull FC this evening. The Saints and the Dragons collide as well this evening. The Wolves and the Warriors, well, they go head-to-head on Saturday, as do the Rhinos and the Tigers. Robins and the Leopards. And finally, of course, the Red Devils take on the Broncos at the Salford Community Stadium. Right, the first game that we're going to take a look at is, of course, that game between the top game, the Giants against Hull FC. Both Ian Watson and Simon Griggs have been talking ahead of this game.
We brought him across here to try and build a kind of a team and want to kind of keep that consistency. Unfortunately, we've not been able to do that. The club haven't been able to come to an agreement with Ihsan. Ihsan's done the right thing by what he thinks for himself and his family, which is always the number one kind of priority for a rugby league player. But the one thing I know about Ihsan is he's come across here, he's improved, he's got better, and he kind of deserves now what he's going to get on the back end of that. And we just want him to get his head down and work hard and finish the season real well, which he will do. He's a good kid and he's a good pro, is Ihsan. So yeah, devastating. Obviously, Yates has been with me for a long, long period of time, Yates. So again, another one where you're kind of upset. When you kind of build relationships with people and you like the kind of guys, it's difficult to see them go, because it's always the case if you ended up having to start again. I'd love nothing more than Ihsan and Yatesy to be here, because they're 2 of your best players and you can build on that. But it seems like what's happening every year is we're losing these kind of players. You go back to kind of the Ricky Latelli, the Danny Levi's, the Tio, kind of, we're not being able to build or sustain anything that what we want to do, which is unfortunate. But again, it is part of the game as well when you're dealing with a salary cap sport. But yeah, the club haven't been able to sort anything out with Isan, so Isan's had to do what he felt was best for him, and obviously we support Isan in that as well. There's no problems with Isan doing that. That's a lot of players. We've come here and then they've improved, but then they've gone elsewhere. If you look at like Oliver Russell's obviously going to be leaving us at the end of the year as well, and the amount of work that's gone into Oliver Russell in 3 years. You look at Ollie Wilson, Samuel, Owen Trout, people like them who've kind of left us as well, who've been here and started to improve, and then they've gone somewhere else. The big thing, and ultimately it comes down to money, basically, doesn't it? It's there. And it's a salary cap sport as well, and it's probably one for a little bit bigger than me as well, to be fair, because it's got to be a full club thing, and got to be kind of running the right way to be able to contain players like these going forward, mate. I don't know. People, once you start doing things, and people will say, "Oh, well, you've been here 4 years now. We should be winning it." Well, when was you winning a comp before? We didn't come here because we were winning a comp. So try and build things. And what we were saying before about losing some of your best players at the end of the year doesn't kind of help in that situation. My job, like I say, is to do the job to the best of my ability to make sure that the players are ready at a weekend. And as long as I'm doing that and I'm respected by the players, and I'm giving them the right things, then I'm doing my job. What I can't control is what people say on the outside. I know what effort the boys are doing. I know how hard they work on the inside of here. And I have no problem with this playing group here. There's hell of a lot of close games. Would we have loved to have won them? If we won them 3 games, would they all be saying it? Because we'd be sat, 16? We'd be sat, pretty top?
Yeah.
At 16 points? So again, you've got to have a balance of where you actually are and how you've actually got there. So to lose 3 games by less than 2 points, well, they could have gone either way there. A little bit of smarts by us, and they probably go that way. We probably potentially should win the game at Saints. We potentially win the game last week. It's the small margins at this kind of level. People are just pretty quick to kind of jump on people when it's not going so well. People want to rip you apart and tear you down. That's why I don't buy into all that noise. I've always been taught that is just focus on what I'm doing. If I get caught up in that, it'll start affecting me in what I'm trying to do and what team you're selecting and all that kind of stuff. And I need to be pretty clear. If I see the boys working hard and trying the best, I've not got a problem.
Yeah, they'll see us as an opportunity to get their confidence back. Well, I feel horrible saying that, but that's the fact at the moment. On the flip side of that, it's double-edged. I think they will be slightly wary because we're going to win at some point. They'll be up, and it's obviously not them, but they've had changes to their team as well, and obviously they have, off the back of losing a pretty big game, often there's a bit of drama around that. It's probably more outside than it is between the 4 walls of Huddersfield. So we'll let them worry about them. We'll worry about us this week, which we're trying to do more than we are the opposition, because we need to get our house in order before we start thinking about anyone else.
Just finally for me, how big an opportunity is this going into the Super League break and then looking ahead to a difficult set of fixtures on the other side of that?
I can't remember who we've got after that. I've not even looked at it. No, look, it's an opportunity to, I don't suppose the word's reset, because that would be nice, wouldn't it? Have it all over again and do some things a bit differently. But we'll throw everything at this week, and then we have an opportunity next week just to breathe a little bit and make some plans around how we want the next portion of the season to look.
So
I just want us to be brave. Not wait until you've been hit a few times before you start throwing a few back. I think that would be a start for us. And just our discipline and improvement in our discipline. There's a few really avoidable penalties we gave away just through not being smart. I think there's a couple of play 4 or 5 ones in their yardage which would just kill us. You back down your own end before you know it, particularly on a short pitch like Cass. So yeah, discipline. We've got to earn the right to move the ball, but at the same time, if it's low risk, we need to look at challenging the opposition as often as we can from minute 1, not minute 60 or whatever it was.
Bit of a difference there, wouldn't you say? One very, very calm Simon Grick, big smile on his face, and then the Ian Watson interview. I mean, that for me, lots to take out. Where did Oliver Wilson's name come from? Sam Hewitt. help me there, Giants fans. Is there more trouble on the way in terms of players going? I'm not 100% sure. Or was that just a slip of the tongue? Oliver Russell moving on. Sorry, but he's not been playing. I mean, if I'm Oliver Russell, I want to move on as well. Personally, I think based on the form this season, Russell should have been given probably more starts than he's had against the Leopards the week before. Thought him and Clune looked very tidy in David Lollahea at full back. So no wonder Oliver Russell wants to move on. I mean, for me there in the Watson interview, what's your view on it? First of all, questioning the club, questioning the retention policy, questioning the leadership of the club. Never good when a coach comes out and says that, and almost saying to the fans, I don't really care what you think. So again, there's a massive disconnect. There appears to be a disconnect now between, Ian Watson and above and Ian Watson and the fans. And that doesn't normally bode well. Some really surprising comments in there, I felt, from Ian Watson this week. I don't know about you, but I heard a lot of music. First of all, the violins were in full gusto. And secondly, I never thought I'd hear the Everly brothers playing in a press conference, because all Ian Watson's got to do is close his eyes and dream, because he'd be top of the league. I mean, dearie me. I mean, I don't know what you Cowbell Army fans are thinking after that, but yet again, I'm perplexed here at Super League Raw. Let's get into the game. Head to head, there you can see it. The Hull FC since 1998, 37 wins to 28 in their favour. The last four, though, have gone the way of the Giants, and they're 1-4 favourites. You can see that there at the bottom. It's 8th against 11. Both of them coming into this game in pretty shocking form, it has to be said. And as Grixie says there, they'll see, Huddersfield are probably seeing Hull FC as a bit of a shoe-in for 2 points. But I'm telling you now, there's some quality performances in the Hull FC team at the moment. Truman, SASE, Sutcliffe, really solid performers week in, week out. If they can bring the other players with them, who knows what could happen this week at the John Smith Stadium. Let's not forget, they've not won there since August, the Cowbell Army. Right, here's the squads then as we go through it. First of all, you'll see there that Jack Murchie has dropped out. He's gone for a period of time for the Huddersfield Giants. He's injured. Joe Greenwood, though, does return to the squad, and that's a big bonus. I think Greenwood's a quality player. And Andre Savelio could make his first team appearance if selected, his first one. Hull are seeking, of course, their first win now in 11 games, but they'll be encouraged by what happened in a spirited effort at the Castleford Tigers. As you can see there, 2 changes made by Simon Griggs to his 21-man squad, with Jack Charles and Will Gardner set to miss this trip to Huddersfield. But having featured in brilliant form on loan with York City Knights last weekend, at last, Davy Litton has been included in the squad. Will we see Davy? Many expected him to be a real shining star this year, but he's not really featured an awful lot. He's joined by Matty Laidlow in the 21-man squad as well. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting game of rugby league, if you ask me. Really interested to see which way it's going to go. I don't think that Huddersfield are shooing for this. I think it could be a really big contest, and there's no doubt about it. There is bad and ill feeling developing at Huddersfield Giants at the moment. If they don't win this, dearie me, I do think, especially with the comments that we've just heard, that Ian Watson could be in a lot of danger of potentially moving on at the end of this 80 minutes. I know a lot of the Cowbell Army, there's half of the camp, some of our members, like Greg Roach, etc., they're very much happy with Ian Watson. But when Ian Watson says, what do these fans expect? Some really spiky comments there. I'd be interested to hear what Greg and the Huddersfield Giants fans have got to say on the Final Whistle podcast. That's right, the Round 13 Final Whistle podcast. That'll be available for you this coming Monday morning on the way into work at 7 a.m. You'll be able to listen to what we've got to say on all of the fallout from round number 13. Right, we now go and move over to what should be a brilliant game at St. Helens as the Catalan Dragons come to town. Catalan not been in great form, started the season really well, but they faded, haven't they? They come up against the Saints. This is what the coaches have had to say.
6-day turnaround going into St. Helens, lots of injuries and doubts going into the game, but no, I think we're in a good place now. After we've finished training, we look okay. So yeah, happy with how the players have responded. There's plenty of players who will get opportunities. I think you look at both teams, and there's probably a very strong team of injured players. If you put the both injured from both teams together, it's a really strong team. But it's not about those players this week. It's about the ones who are playing. And some of our players have been waiting patiently in the squad to get an opportunity. And we'll go there this week, and we're confident going there. We've got large parts of our game are good. Quite clearly, we need to attack and probably score a few more points, which would help. But last week was a classic game against 2 good teams. They scored 2 tries, we scored 1. Semi-final style football, if you like. So it puts us in a good position for this week.
I think they've got an identity on the way they like to play, and part of that is the physical nature of the way they play. You know, they've got some big bodies there who are very hard to handle. You know, not just in the forwards but also in the backs, and you know, that physical type of game is something that we're going to have to bring ourselves if we want to get a result and a performance that that we need. So yeah, we're going to be challenged in that area, as you always are when you play Catalan. But it's a challenge that we're looking forward to. But the playing group have approached these last few weeks in a really strong way. You know, I went on record last week and said we've trained as well as we have done in a long time in these last few weeks, and I think it's starting to reflect in our performances. There's a great feel amongst the group at the moment, and given the fact that we are facing a little bit of adversity, I think the lads have really took that challenge on and are enjoying the challenge of having our backs to the wall a little bit.
So there you go, with the coach's views going into this big one at the Totally Wicked Stadium. And no wonder Steve McNamara is in confident form. The last 5 have gone the way of the Catalan Dragons. Saints have not beat Catalan now for many seasons. It's got to be said, Catalan go there in great spirit, albeit the history tells you that Saints have a 5-game lead. Saints in better form, no doubt about it, coming into this game. First, of course, against 5th. 1-4 on the Saints, 16-5 the Dragons. Right, let's take a look at the two teams. And as you can see there, Jake Burns and Leon Cowan, they come into the squad. But of course, again, it's notable that Ignatius Parsi keeps his spot in the squad too. Will Parsi come back for this one? They certainly do need him, don't they, in this team. For Leon Cowan, it's the first time he's been named in Wellington's 21-man squad coming into this. He was, of course, the academy captain in 2023. Right, as for Steve McNamara, well, he's named his squad as well. Alfred Romano, Mike McMeekin and Paul Sugair, they're out through injury. And, of course, Alrix de Costa, he went off of a HIA against Warrington. He is not going to be there. Fouad Jahar, Leon Castano, Glamar, Raspio, Bichet, and also we've got Abdelsiam. He's in there as well. New names, those. It'll be very interesting to see if they get a place in this one as well. But yeah, let's get into these two squads. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Look at the middle units. That, for me, is really key in there. Matty Leigh, Sione Matauti, he's been playing in the front row. Will Party come back in for this? If he does, of course, will he be 100% fit? And George Delaney. They really are down on troops in that middle unit. And perhaps, I get it, no McMeekin, of course, but, you do see that it will be Julien Busquet. He will be definitely there. Romain Neverett is also in the squad as well. Chris Satai and Jordan Desiree. So there's no doubt the punching power down the middle for me does go heavily in the favour of the Catalan Dragons for this one. In terms of the back line, well, of course, St. Helens in a bit better shape when it comes to their back line. But again, look at that. The number 6 not there. Johnny Lomax, he, of course, confirmed he's going to be sitting out for quite a while. That, again, could be really telling for the Saints. So, yeah, I mean, look, on paper, based on current form, you'd almost think, Saints are probably favourite for this. But when you take a look at who's in, who's out, tell you now, this is not as straightforward as perhaps you think it's going to be. It's going to be a very interesting game at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Do not count out the Catalan Dragons. 5 wins from 5 against Saints. For no doubt about it, Steve McNamara seems to come up really well when he takes on the Saints. This is going to be very intriguing indeed. Right, there's the curtain raiser for the Challenge Cup final coming at the Halliwell Jones Stadium this coming Saturday as the Wigan Warriors come to town to face the Wire. And both coaches have been speaking ahead of this game.
From day one, we have a pretty honest environment, and from being a captain of a club in Australia, I've captained England before. A lot of those characteristic traits that you learn as a player, you just transfer them over as a coach. I'm young. Well, I actually have a player in my squad that's older than me, in Stefan Ratchford, and I've played with 3 or 4 of these guys before, and I played against quite a few of them. So we have a mutual respect straight away. So the transition's been seamless, really. I've got a great club here, good respect with the owners and the sort of the corporate side of the club as well. So it's almost like life as a player, but you just don't have to do the hard work on the field anymore. You just do from a seat and try and lead in that way. Well, it's been a great start to the year. We've got a few things right early on, starting with our pre-season. We've had some good tough wins on the road, as John alluded to. I thought our defence in the south of France was brilliant last week. It really was, and we sustained a lot of pressure, and continually kept turning up for each other. So I was happy for the guys that everyone else gets to see the hard work showing up. But on the back of that, we had the ability to throw some attack under fatigue and ask a few questions. So it's been a good start, but we're only just scratching the surface now, guys. Don't get too excited.
Oh, but we are. We're getting so excited.
The win-losses is impressive, where they are in the league, but I think it's more the way they've been playing, their attitude, the commitment to one another. They look determined, they look more steel defensively, and they've got a lot of talent as well, haven't they? Particularly with the likes of George, Matt Dufty, Danny Walker. So, I think you can see why they're winning. That they've got belief, they defend well, and they've got talent. So it's always a good combination.
So we won't put anyone under too much risk. I'm not actually nailed down my squad, but I'm pretty close to full strength, or what I think it can be full strength. So I'll probably know a bit more tomorrow afternoon. We'll probably name it then. But it's a few guys will get a break, but we'll try and be as strong as we can.
We'll try and be as strong as we can. We'll take a look at that in a few moments' time. And this is the head-to-head, and no surprises, the Wigan Warriors 44-26 in the history since 1996 between these two. In the last 5, 4-1 up. The Wigan Warriors, both of these two sides come into this game in great form in Super League, and that's not taking into account their wins in the Challenge Cup semi-finals either. Second against third. As Steph said on Super League Raw Weekly, this should have been an absolute belter, but the question was, who were the two squads going to be? And here they are. And Wigan have gone strong, no doubt about it, but again, they have got incredible strength in depth, haven't they? As for Warrington, well, it's a who's who as to who is not going to be there on Saturday. No Josh Fulis, the player of the month for May. No Matty Ashton. He also not included in this squad this week. No Toby King as well. You'll see that he's out of this squad. It's incredible, isn't it? We know that George Williams is banned in the front row. No James Harrison. Matty Nicholson, well, he is there, but Ben Curry is not, and neither is Lachlan Fitzgibbon. No Danny Walker as well. So massive changes here for Sam Burgess. And of course, Steph said it questions the integrity to Super League, but there's no doubt Sam Burgess sees the Challenge Cup perhaps as his best chance of getting his hands on silverware in his first season at the Warrington Wolves. It's a massive gamble. We saw Willie Peters do this last year, and it backfired dramatically when Leigh Leopards went to Leeds and played their strongest squad. Warrington, though, will be handing a lot of players their heads in this one. I mean, we know there's a few of these players that have played this season in and around. I mean, Stephen Ratchford, we know, the veteran of the game. Aaron Lindop played his debut at the Catalans ranks. He probably would be expected to feature. We've seen Lucas Green before playing. Joe Bullock would be expected to come back. We may see Dan Okoro, who came in from the Bradford Bulls, making his debut for Warrington this coming Saturday. That'll be interesting to see how that young player goes. Nolan Tapia giving a shirt at the Warrington Wolves for the first time this year, yet to make his debut. Believe me, good second row prospect he is as well. We've seen Tom Whitehead before. Jake Fulis, the brother of Josh, of course. And believe you me, if you haven't seen him play already, that player there, Kai Taylor-Ray. This is Warrington Wolves fullback of the future. I've got no doubt about that at all. If you haven't seen him yet, well, believe me, you'll be very impressed if he plays on Saturday, if he gets his shirt. And Frank Sargent, who has been playing brilliantly for the reserves and for the academy now for many seasons. He's a try-scoring machine. Slight, don't get me wrong, very much in the mould of like a Leon Hayes, not quite as bulky, but absolutely rapid and knows how to finish on the edges. As for the Wigan Warriors, I think perhaps having seen Sam Burgess's squad for this game, don't be surprised if the likes of Jack Ferryman is given the starting shirt. It might just be the squad where Matt Peake looks at the Warrington squad and thinks, you know what, do I need to play Bevan French? Do I need to play Harry Smith? Can I make a few changes that I weren't perhaps thinking of doing? Sam Walters, he's potentially going to come in for this one. I would expect Sam Walters to get a run out, because you can see there the number 11. There is no Liam Fowle for this one. He has been rested, so I'd expect Sam Walters will come in for this one. Julian Sember is there as always, but maybe some of those other players, the Jack Eckersley who we saw at the London Broncos, maybe he'll be given a spot in this, because Matt Peake knows that Warrington have rested a hell of a lot of players. It might just mean some of those players on the fringes of that Wigan squad that you you're seeing there do, in fact, get a starting jersey this coming Saturday. It's intriguing, isn't it? Really, really intriguing. It's going to be fascinating to see which way that one goes. For me, possibly the game of the week is going to be at Craven Park as Hull KR take on the Leigh Leopards. These two teams always deliver a spectacle. We've been treated time and time again over the last couple of seasons to some really, really good contests at both Craven Park, the LSV, and of course Wembley. Who can forget that? Let's go and hear from both coaches ahead of this one.
I'd say that Leigh, in terms of shape, probably throw the best shape of any team in the competition. I mean, obviously Wigan, Saints, Catalans, Warrington, very good attacking sides. But in terms of shape of one play, Leigh's certainly sort of throwing us the most questions there. So we need to be on. There's no doubt about that in terms of defending at their shape. But we need to be on defending their middle as well, because they've got really good middles and powerful middles, and they've got nines that like to run. So important that we are back. Defending the way we want to defend, especially as I say in that first half. We had 12 tackles in our line. We defended that. We got a penalty in the first set. We defended that where previously we haven't. So we took a step in the right direction last week, but we need to be better again this week.
Is there anyone? Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. Are they difficult to defend because of the personnel they've got and how interchangeable they are? All that. So we've seen Matt Boyle play 6-1, Gareth O'Brien can do that. You can have Zach Harder who can play centre and fullback. It seems like they haven't really set what they do yet, probably because of injuries. It must make them quite hard to prepare for, in the sense of there are tweaks and subtleties that are different depending on who plays where for them.
Yeah, not really. They run similar shape. We know what's coming. If Asiata doesn't play, then they'll run certain shapes, more so than others. If he does play, we know lot's going to come through him. We know, what middles are passing and that type of thing. So you know what's coming, but defending it's a different thing. That's the key. Like if they get to who they want to get to and their forwards are setting the platform, then it's difficult to defend. So I don't think and they've proven that. They've proven when their more senior sort of players haven't played, they've still thrown some nice shape and scored some points. We know in terms of what they'll throw at us, but as I say, stopping it's another thing. But we plan to do that.
It's a difficult place to go to and win there, and we've got to have an absolutely spot on game with minimal errors and defend well. They're a team that if as London would have seen last week, if you don't start well, it catches up on you really quickly, and before you know it, the score's blown out. So, we've got a bit of a plan going up there. I'm confident that we can go there and play well, but it's going to take us 80 minutes and everyone playing their best rugby.
You believe you don't become a bad player overnight. Like you look at Niall when he was at Cass and the injuries that he had, so he wasn't on the field, and I think people forget pretty quickly. And when I looked at him, I thought, okay, he could be available here. And I looked into his history and what he's done in the game, and then I thought, wow, this could be a real handy pickup. We knew obviously when Pet came that he was going to get first opportunity at fullback, but Niall knew that, and then Niall wanted to back himself. And his management sort of said, no, he's happy with that, which was great because it was all honest and open. And he looked at himself as a fullback, and I certainly did as well. He's a fullback. We always said that. So that he hasn't surprised any of us at all. I think there's still more in Niall. And when I say there's more in him, like on the weekend we challenged him in certain ways, and he responded. So Niall. I believe if he keeps going, can be a major part of this team, and he is. Like in terms of stats, he's a quiet guy off the field, so we just want to get him more vocal. And but when Niall's around the ball and he's touching the ball, then our attack's strong. There's no secret about that. So it's just about putting Niall in positions. More quality over quantity. I think sometimes fullbacks can just sort of run around without getting the footy and not have too many involvements. And there has been some, he's ran for 70 odd metres one game and then 80 in another. But then when he's got more quality and purpose to what he's doing, he's over that 200 mark. And then, like you say, he's got a hand in tries or he's scoring tries. So I think he's finding his groove now, and he's just got to keep consistent with that.
So there's the thoughts of Willie Peters and Lachlan Lamb going into this one. Like I say, should be absolutely brilliant, shouldn't it? Let's take a look at the tail of the tape of these. But before we do that, the Niall Evalds conversation. 11 appearances in Super League this year, 5 tries, 15 assists. Sorry, so that's 20 times he's either scored a try or made a try this season. 9 clean breaks. His tackle busting stats are 19. He's made just shy of 1,200 metres in those 11 games. Niall Evalds, no doubt about it, in great form for Hull KR. 5-2 since 2021 between these two. 3-2 in the favour of Hull KR in the last 5 against the Leigh Leopards. As you can see there, both of these two teams coming to this one in really, really good form. It's 4th against 9th. Leigh, of course, starting to get into their groove. It's 2-5 if you're want to go with the favourites, the Robins. The Leopards 2-1. That's how close the bookies see this one, and I have to agree, very difficult to see who is going to win in these two. Right, let's take a look at the squads then, starting with Hull KR, and as you can see there, as we go down the lineup, Hiku, Evalds, Opachik, of course, in no Oliver Gildart still. That's a problem for them, but Opachik is back. Of course, Hiku will play alongside him with Evalds at fullback. Ryan Hall is there. There's still no Joe Burgess. That's still a little bit of a concern, a little bit of a head scratcher for Willie Peters in terms of on the edges. So don't be surprised if some of the personnel is moved around to accommodate that particular wing. Maybe one of the youngsters coming in. Probably Jack Broadbent, though, again, will deputise on the wing, we would expect. Still Tyrone May and Mikey Lewis in the middles. The forward line looking as good as always. They'll come into this in really good shape. As for the Leigh Leopards, well, there's some big omissions yet again for the Leigh Leopards this year. No Gareth O'Brien. It was expected that he might have got back for this one. He's going to be out. So Zach Hardacre may have to deputise once again in the fullback position like he did last week, with Matt Moylan going back into the house. Or will he put Matt Moylan back at fullback? It's always going to be interesting. I mean, you heard Willie Peters talk about that there in terms of how versatile this Leigh Leopards side is. But I would expect to see Hardacre at the fullback position this week, with perhaps Ed Chamberlain once again deputising in the centres alongside Ricky Latelli. Of course, Hanley and Charlie in great form. The forward line looking good yet again, but no Robbie Mulhern. That's a big blow, of course, for them. But let's not forget, Owen Trout, I think, is growing all the time for the Leigh Leopards. So it'll be very interesting to see who starts alongside Tom Amone in the front row this coming weekend. One thing's for certain, it's an absolutely fascinating game. This, for me, it could go either way. Craven Park, always a cauldron, not an easy place to go and play. You heard Adrian Lamb say that, but for me personally, it's going to be a very, very interesting game indeed. I personally can't wait for this one, and I'm sure you're exactly the same. Don't forget the membership. Yes, if you wish to become a Super League Raw member, get over there now. That is now on the screen. Go and take a quick look at that. Make sure that you consider becoming a member here at Super League Raw. We go around the grounds for you every single week, bringing the best content so you don't have to go anywhere. That's what building up to round number 13 looks like. Super League Rock style. Like I say, nobody does it like we do. And don't forget the quiz, 17th of June. That is going to be happening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd love your company for this one. 17th of June, the quiz night. It starts at 8 p.m. Prizes for the winners. It brings the community together. Everybody who's attended Quiz 1 and Quiz 2 say it's been a great night. We expect a great attendance for Quiz Night number 3. You don't want to miss out. It is limited availability on this one. That's right. It's a first come, first served basis. Tickets available now on Eventbrite. Get yourself over there and consider coming along to the Super League Raw Quiz Night. We would love to have your company. Right, over to the Leeds Rhinos now. They're going to be taking on the Casford Tigers this weekend. Not an awful lot come out from either club in terms of the coaches, but Gary Hetherington has been talking about a new position, of course, the director of rugby there at the Leeds Rhinos. This is what Gary has had to say.
Job and a very significant position. The new applicant, whoever that may be, will assume responsibility for the rugby league department. That's all player staff recruitment and retention, and of course the rugby league budget. And hopefully they'll be able to take us on the journey that we wanted to go on and accelerate it. So it is a big job, and we're looking for the right quality of candidate. Our rugby league operation has expanded significantly in recent years. and there's that much more to do and to focus on. So yes, a very welcome addition to our club in different fields. So yes, my job primarily is to provide support and to be able to have confidence in everybody that's doing that job. I've certainly got that with everybody that we've got at present. Looking to bring somebody in who can give us equal confidence and be a very welcome addition.
So Gary Harrington there saying he's got full confidence in everybody at the club. That must be, music to the ears of Rowan Smith coming into this one. But yes, let's keep our eyes peeled. A lot thought that they would prefer Kevin Sinfield to return to the Leeds Rhinos. Will the prodigal son return home? Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. Right, let's take a look at this particular match, though. Leeds coming up against Castleford, closer than you think since 1996. Just 10 games between them, 38-28 in the favour of Leeds. 3-2 up in the last 5 games. But yeah, I mean, coming into the game, it's arguable that Castleford are in the better form. It's 7th against 10th. Look at the points for, both on 2-14, but defence wins games. We say this all the time. That goes the way of the Leeds Rhinos. 4-9 on, playing 19-2 if you're a Castleford Tigers fan. Bit of value there, I think, for Castleford Tigers fans, considering how well they're playing at this moment in time. Let's get into the squads then. And there is a surprise for you Leeds Rhinos fans at number 4, Paul Momorowski, set to return to action. Are they going to go with their first choice pairing at centre? Newman and Momorowski, perhaps, just perhaps, will be back for this one. Of course, Matty Russell, the loanee, this is out, of course, having failed a HIA last week against the Saints. Alfie Edgehill is included, as you can see there, once again. It's fair to say that they're starting to look a little bit more like the squad that Rowan Smith would have wanted. Still a couple of absentees, of course, but in the main, they're not in as bad a shape as perhaps they have been over recent weeks and months, the Leeds Rhinos. It's going to be very interesting to see how they perform in front of the Headingley faithful this coming Saturday. As for the Castleford Tigers, well, there you can see just the one change has made with Sammy Kibula replacing Jacob Miller. Jacob Miller out. He was supposedly out. Is replaced by Jacob. Sammy Kibler's out. It's Jacob Miller who's back. What am I on about? I tell you, it's that time of the show again where I'm getting that excited and giddy. I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, there you go. Jacob Miller back in the side. That's a big bonus, of course, for the Castleford Tigers. Of course, Paul McShane deputised there last week. We'll probably not have to do that this week because, of course, Milnes has been in great form at standoff. So Paul McShane going back to hooker. That's good. Luke Hooley back in the squad. Will he feature? Possibly unlikely because of the form of Tex Hoy. Sam Wood there as left edge with Innis Senior, Sam Wood, and of course Alex Mellor. Very, very strong indeed for the Castleford Tigers. I mean, for me personally, this could go the way of the Castleford Tigers. I think Castleford are in a really good spot at the moment. I think Craig Lingard has done a brilliant job. They're getting better and better. They're becoming more comfortable. I think the likes of Westham and McShane back now for a period of time and getting stronger from their injuries. I think it's good to see them back on the field doing what they can do well. I think the second row is quality. I think El Zakim's been a great addition to the Castleford Tigers squad this season. Already mentioned Alex Mellor, who I think's in great form. Gary had a good game at the weekend, didn't he? He'll probably come in again on the right edge with no Lewis Senior for injury. It's a fascinating game, this one. Again, a lot of discontent. We talked to our Team Talk member, Alex Sharp, who's on the Final Whistle podcast, saying there's a lot of parts of the South Stand who don't want Rowan Smith at the club, but then there's equally ones who do, who are citing the fact of injuries and let's judge him when he's got these full complement of players on the field. And let's be fair, Leeds are not a million miles away. Ali, if we go back to the league table, there you can see it. They're on 12 points, only 2 off the playoff places, and only 4 off 4th. So there's no doubt about it. In that respect, Rowan Smith isn't in that bad a position at this moment in time. Perhaps should be given more time. And we heard there from Gary Harrington that he's totally and utterly got the confidence of when it comes to Rowan Smith, that he thinks he's doing a good job. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's only one other game to talk about. We haven't had the squads for this. They'll be announced today at midday. Keep an eye on our social media platforms. We'll make sure that you get the content when it comes through. Who's going to be in the starting lineups of the 21-man squads for the London Broncos and for Salford. We know that Salford have got a lot of injury problems, especially in the front. But one man who spoke ahead of this game, one of the coaches anyway, is Mike Eccles. I could listen to this man all day long. He's been speaking to London Broncos on their YouTube channel, and this is what Mike has had to say.
Towards a quick one from last week, you spoke about in the post-match that you thought, well, you took responsibility for the defeat last week at Hull KR. What's this week been like in training in response to that defeat?
Good. good. We always respond well in training. We always lick our wounds and get on with it. We're just desperately disappointed. Like, we felt like we let everybody down. We felt that it's a good opportunity to build some momentum on the field, and there's another good crowd on again. And we don't make a secret about it that we're trying to build performances on the field. We're trying to build a fan base off the field, and we just felt like we let ourselves down, to be honest with you. And we're looking to make amends.
And so, in terms of then making amends, it's a trip up to Salford at the weekend. Now, the reverse fixture, it was one of those really close games that we've had, which again, I wouldn't say feel like we let ourselves down, but there was an opportunity I think we felt in that game. Do we feel like we have taken enough from that first game to believe we can get a result this time around?
Yeah, I think that was a reasonable performance, wasn't it? I think they always had us at arm's length. Let's not kid ourselves. I thought they were good, and when they went down to 12, they were even better. Which it goes to show you what type of team they are. They're a tough team. They're a gritty team. When the chips are down, they're a team who they maximise what they have. Very similar to us, really. They know that. They know the strengths. They know the weaknesses, and they're a very the togetherness as a group is quite showing. And I thought when they went down to 12 against us last time, I thought they were outstanding. So reasonable performance from us defensively because we conceded less points. We were in touching distance, but at the same time, I felt that they always had us at arm's length.
What have you made of Salford this season? Some people have described them as a bit of a surprise package.
Yeah, I said it like before a ball was kicked. I thought Leigh were excellent last year, and Salford, with the style of rugby they play, is really entertaining. I think if I'm at home watching a game, they're a team that I enjoy watching probably more than anybody, to be honest with you, because again, they know what they've got, they know what they've not got, and they play to that strength. Very, very well coached, very well put together. They all buy into the common goal there. That's something you would say about them. But we know what's coming as well. We played them just a few weeks ago. We've prepared well so far this week, and just looking forward to just getting that game digested and gone really from the weekend.
And then just finally a quick update on the squad in terms of fitness. It's been clearing up over recent weeks. It's not a million miles away from full availability. So where are we at now?
Yeah, we're still a fair bit off full availability. Dean Parata's had a head knock which has been just lingering around, but he's on the up now, so hopefully he'll be back soon. Jack Campagnolo, same, really a bit of a funny back issue, but he's back running tonight. He's been doing a few bits and pieces skill-wise and a few bits in the gym, but he's back running, so we're hoping that we'll have a quick upsurge in the availability status of those two players, but they're trickier injuries. They're not as clear-cut as giving you a direct kind of turnaround. Emmanuel Wayne returns to training tonight, actually, so he's hopefully 3, maybe 4 weeks away, which will come in good time for the Wigan Saints game.
So some good news there for you London Broncos fans. Some big players on the horizon return. Dean Parata, of course, Player of the Year last year in the Championship. Campagnolo, he, of course, hasn't had a good run, has he? Very interested to see how he goes when he returns back. The James Meadows partnership. I mean, but that said, Ollie Leyland's almost undroppable. Will he be James Meadows, such is the form of Ollie Leyland? Emmanuel Wayne, of course, an absolute bulldozer of a player. They could do with him back. We've seen already the impact of Nathan Natoli since his return for the London Broncos. And of course, let's not forget, these two did go head-to-head at Wimbledon a few weeks ago. It was only 12 points to 4 that Salford Red Devils beat the London Broncos. So they will go to the Salford Community Stadium thinking that they can give this a really good go. And like I say, do expect to see a lot of middle units not there for Salford coming into this match. And of course, will Mark Sneed make it? Of course, he seemed to pick up a knock last week, didn't he? Anyway, here's the head-to-head. As you see, since 1997, 24-17 in the favour of Salford. The last 5-0 to Salford. Salford, of course, would be expected to win this one. Of course, they're 6th, London at 12. But look at the odds, 14-1 London Broncos, 12-4 at Wimbledon only a couple of weeks ago. And like I say, depending on Mark Sneed, if Mark Sneed wasn't there for Salford, if they were missing some big middle units, 14-1 seems a good piece of value for me. Keep a very close eye on the 21-man squads at 12 o'clock today when they're announced, because let me tell you, there could be a bit of value there for the London Broncos, but everybody would expect the Salford Red Devils to be the stronger. There you go. We've been right around the ground. Super League Raw News doing the hard work for you. We hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, Super League Raw News coming at you next week, but it's been half term this week, so the programming a little bit up and down, spending a bit of time with kids, and as you can see, I probably need to go out and buy a little bit of shaving cream so that I can get rid of this monstrosity on my face. But we hope you've enjoyed Super League Raw News. Keep supporting us here at Super League Raw. Become a member. Come to the quiz night. Great bit of value. Your opportunity to win some prizes and become a part of this wonderful community that we're creating. A belated happy birthday to Super League Raw Team Talk member, Mr. Greg Roach out there. Greg, we hope you enjoyed your birthday yesterday, and thank you very much for watching Super League Raw News. We will be back with the news update on Monday with all of the fallout from round 13. Do not forget that, of course, the Final Whistle podcast where we debate all things round 13, that will be uploaded as a podcast on Apple, Amazon and Spotify, 7 a.m. on Monday morning. In the sheds throughout the weekend for all the games. Nobody does that like Super League Raw does. And, of course, 8 p.m. live on Tuesday, Super League Raw weekly. Yes, we try and make it a 7-day operation for you at Super League Raw. We know you're enjoying things out there. Welcome to our new members. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Why not join them? Get over to our Patreon website right now and go and become a member. But before you do, here's what's coming up for the rest of the week from Super League Raw. Enjoy your weekend. Get to the game. It's Super League Raw like never before, and it's Super League round number 13. Let's hope it's a belter. Bye for now.